All right, so Joe Budden made some comments about No Jumper being like bottom tier content.
Mm-hmm. No, he said the whole network should just be scrapped.
Yeah.
No, so and here's what happened. So our boys, who was actually here, called the Home Run Podcast. It's AJ, Lord Nobles, and I forgot the other dude names, man. So pretty much,
I'm talking about what was said on the podcast.
Yeah, right. So look, so I think Joe seen them here, and Joe invited them on his podcast, right? And they have a podcast where they critique another podcast. So Joe brought them on. They did a Patreon, and they asked Joe, give me, your top 3 best podcasts and top 3 worst. And Joe Budden said No Jumper is the worst, and he don't care about nobody else. But
what's our retort to that?
Wait though, right? But here's the thing though, right? And here's why it's pure hate. Because Joe Budden has said that when the No Jumper show had canceled. So there was no podcast. And
that was my defense. One, nigga, what podcast are you judging? Because there isn't any.
Yeah.
And 2, like that nigga Axe said, bro, you could put a Picasso in front of them niggas and they gonna find something bad to say about it. That's what they do up there.
Right.
That's not a praise podcast. That podcast is you can put a beautiful sculpture in front of my face and I'm gonna figure out some nonsense to say about that shit.
Okay.
Podcast, that's what they do there, you know?
Yeah.
So it's kind of I didn't expect them to say nothing good about shit over here, you know?
No, right. Yeah, right. So right. So it's kind of how do we even respond back to some shit?
And I think Joe Budden be seeing me call him trash up here.
Oh, he sees you talking about his rapping ability. Because I remember one time.
Every time I'm on camera, I say he trash.
Yeah, one time you said he's not even lyrical. And there was a lot of people upset with that because he is.
He's trash.
He's somewhat lyrical.
No.
Joe, you can't say Joe Budden's not a lyrical rapper. If there's anything that he gets, he's a lyrical. That's the only thing I get.
Out of the lyrical rappers, he's dirt.
Listen,
comparing him to other lyrical rappers, he's trash.
If you compare him to Mos Def, Black Thought, Talib Kweli,
niggas getting
Jadakiss.
Slaughtered.
What?
Not fucking with them niggas.
If you were to compare Joe Budden in that
other
rap-wise.
Wait, hold up. Joe Budden was hating, but he for sure washes Mos Def, Talib Kweli.
What? I don't think Joe Budden
and
raps better than Talib.
No.
And Jadakiss?
Yes,
No,
Joe Budden.
he doesn't
is
rap better than
raps better than Jadakiss?
No, he doesn't.
He's a tier 1 lyricist.
No, he doesn't.
Yes.
He raps better than Jadakiss.
Look us in our eyes and say he's a tier 1 lyricist.
Jadakiss?
Oh, and
Joe
he
Budden
raps better than
Is a
Jadakiss.
tier 1 lyricist. Yeah.
He's not better than Jada,
He's better
bro.
than Kiss? Ha Kiss?
No.
Yes.
No. Fuck no.
I feel
Hell no.
I'm old
That's the
enough
shit I be
to
talking
where
about.
That's
I
crazy.
That's the shit I be talking about where it's
Hey,
I don't have nothing else to say.
Listen,
I do. That's nuts. That is delusion, nigga. That's crazy. He
Listen.
cannot fuck with Kiss
smoke.
on no fucking level. That's insane. And
What does-
anybody who
He's not
knows,
seeing Kiss, bro.
anybody who
Kiss
knows
is
about
top 5
Jadakiss
dead or
catalog,
alive.
yes.
in
Anybody
terms
who
of
knows
hit
anything-
making, probably. Right?
No,
Not hit
hits.
making,
No.
pen.
He
The
didn't have
pen.
that many hits
Pen.
compared
Over
to
Joe,
his-
I mean, right?
Nah, bro.
No, we talking
You got hits
pen.
over Joe.
We're talking pen.
Sure, but
Bars.
bars. Listen, now
got a letter?
again.
Can we ask the tap?
Is Joe Budden better than
Joe
Jadakiss?
Budden
That's
has
that's a
lyrically-
landslide.
Come on,
Reno,
landslide.
What you think?
I got Jadakiss easy.
I think
Come on,
everybody
bro.
got Jadakiss.
Come on, bro.
But
Stop.
But I will say Joe
Stop.
Budden is a
Shit.
lyricist, but
A top tier
but he's just not
lyricist.
better than
Like
Jadakiss.
tier 1
though.
lyricist.
No, for the-
Compared to other lyricists, he's trash.
I can't name one Joe Budden song besides
Sure
Pump It Up.
can't. Nigga, pump
But
it
I've
up
heard him
and
rap
come and take a
before.
walk with me, nigga. Walk with me.
I
But
wouldn't
I've
even-
heard some of his music, I've heard his tracks with Slaughterhouse. I'm familiar. That shit not good, nigga. That shit
Yeah.
not compared
Listen.
to other lyrical rappers, you know? That's not my specialty. I don't get on the track trying to ultimately bar you up. Yeah, I'll throw bars in there every now and again. But if we're talking about lyricists, nigga.
What do you? All right, so Flacco, what was your thoughts on what Joe Budden had to say though about No Jumper? the
Sure,
current state?
right? So I guess how do I have a thought on something that don't exist, right? For example, if he says, it's the worst podcast, and at the time there was no podcast on the network, then responding back is idiotic, right? Because there's no podcast to even judge. You feel me?
It is though the Wack and Adam show or Adam and Wack show.
It's only one show.
That's a podcast. You know what I'm saying? Which is doing
But he
extremely well.
said though, right, that the Adam and Wack show is actually good though. right?
We can't play the audio for you guys.
Yeah,
I wish
right.
we could play the clip of what
right.
he said.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. So like,
And what's up with him and Adam's relationship? Because I seem like every minute, one day I wake up, it's cool. The next day I wake up, he's shitting on us. The next day,
so I watched Joe Budden podcast after Adam went up there and they had their interview and it just didn't go right. I feel like that's where their relationship might have. I don't know.
No,
their relationship, but they might have went left after that.
No, because they actually like talked again and did like the whole like radio interview shit.
No.
What? Yeah. No. Yes. Right.
I think that's what soured their relationship. Right. Is him going to the Joe Budden podcast and doing
that's
that
like
interview.
6 months though after like the Joe Budden like podcast shit, right?
Yeah.
But that's a landslide. 85% says Jadakiss is way better than Joe Budden. Come on now, 15% Joe
I feel
Budden.
like those kids probably like weren't alive, like when Mule music dropped.
But what I will say in regards to the Joe Budden podcast is that, in a sense, there is some no jumper influence there, and bear with me. The influence as far as, what's the word for like work? Maybe workplace, like the workplace culture.
How we beefed.
As far as the whole employee thing, some would say I might be the originator of that. But the whole employee thing and stuff, like how you see how him and what's his boy Queens Flip every episode, especially as of late, they having contractual issues and it's spilling over. The Reddit's talk about it. It seeps out throughout the episode. They've had instances as far as talking about people's salary.
It's lore. Right. It's lore and it spills on camera and it's all between
and
the hosts.
This was the first big platform to have those type of conversations as far as what are employees being paid, how long is an employee's going to be there. The whole issue with being an employee, which there should be none, but that whole thing, that whole kind of rhetoric in my knowledge came from this was the first platform. Here. And I see that happening over there all the time, even in their Reddit. I see that.
50-50
again, I watched that podcast.
But then again, Rory and Maul did leave because they did have the same problem with pay and shit. Ooh, so it's like they kind of kicked it off.
But that's partnership.
You see, they thought they were in a partnership. So
it should have been.
Yeah,
regardless of
partnership.
I feel like Joe Budden, like you can say that, but at the end of the day, like the Adam and Wax show is killing it right now. You know what I'm saying? So like that's a super dope podcast that's on No Jumper. But like a lot of people, they just keep looking at No Jumper as a podcast. At the end of the day, Adam didn't build No Jumper off being a podcast. He built No Jumper off doing interviews, and I feel like that's been the strong suit of what Adam always been able to do. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I was fucking with Adam in the first place, because of the interviews.
I didn't really watch the podcast.
I wasn't watching the podcast and shit. So like to say like, so with Joe Budden, like besides the Nicki Minaj shit, like you really ain't did that many interviews this year. So like you, don't get me wrong, Joe Budden is a dope interviewer, but like niggas got their own, you know what I'm saying? Niggas gonna say what they gonna say.
Everybody
but like,
doing them.
I feel like No Jumper is more than just a podcast, and that's what niggas like. That, you could be saying, you could argue about the podcast state of it, but like, nigga, we do interviews up here.
Well, Joe Budden might be amazing at podcasting, but we all know he sucks at rapping.
Facts.
So making music. He sucks at making music.
Yes,
so
he does.
Everybody's not good at everything.
Facts.
You feel me? Nobody's perfect. So, you know.
Joe Budden is not a good song maker.
Listen right now, but like, at least he's open with like using his niggas as like lab rats, right? Because even like Joe like has openly like confessed to, yo, I told her this before the podcast started, so like I could instigate this conflict, right?
Yeah, he drive narratives. But it's funny when he does it. I'll give him that.
No, it's not funny. Like he's
as
using
a viewer, it's funny.
He's using his employees as lab rats, which was right, which is like you know, again, like I can respect it if you're open about it, which he was. You feel me?
That's called producing to me, though.
What?
Sometimes now there has to be a line. There's certain things
drama between your.
As long as it's surface level, like you feel me. Like if somebody has something going on with their child or something that you know about that's just crazy,
there's levels to
that's you shouldn't cross that line.
Has that not been
this
done
person
here?
got something going on with their kid, or this person got something going on with something that's super personal like that. But some surface level shit. Oh, this person, that person don't get along. That's producing. They do that on Love and Hip Hop. They do that on Zeus Network. They do that on Basketball Wives. They do that.
Has that not been done here at Flacco's expense?
Hey man.
In regards to what?
Has that not been? Well, you wasn't here. Has it not been done here at Flacco's expense?
Hey man, listen man, Flock would just be living, man. You feel me?
I'm just saying.
Answer the question.
Damn right.
All right then.
There's been some producing. I call it producing.
Nigga schemed, plotted for like 12 hours. You feel me?